Hi, I'm Patrick Gerard, and I'm the project manager for the QLK for the 100 and the upcoming 150. We've made this video for you just to show you some of the features and benefits of our docking system, what's coming up, and also some of our capabilities. You know, we've made some huge investments for the docking system. We now have an in-house laser. We do in-house powder coating. We've got some CNC equipment. We've been working directly with wheelchair manufacturers who send us prototypes and upcoming wheelchairs, and we've really made some leaps and bounds over the last 2-3 years.
This is the QLK 100. It's our current docking system. It's been on the market about 4 or 5 years now. As you can tell, it's a nice dark gray cover. Really lends itself well to all vehicle interior colors. The outside case, the internal components, everything is heat treated. And the removable cover is standard, it's not an option. And the 6 side bolts, you got a quick Molex connector, and you've got easier servicing. So we'll take a look at the inside. We also see all the components are a nice gold hue. This is zinc dichromate. Everything else is pretty similar to docking systems that are currently on the market, with a couple key features. One is the over-torquing of this nut will never prohibit the movement of the pawls, and that's by way of a flange spacer that's in there. Kind of difficult to show you, but no matter what, I'm not going to have to grease the inside of the pawl after a couple years and then start tightening and then backing up on it. Your dealers are going to tighten it once, and they're not going to have to worry about over-rotation or any liability that may come from over-torquing that nut. We also see the micro switches, so our design incorporates micro switch protection into the pawl itself, and basically we'll never see this pawl over-rotate and break the micro switch. And the last feature of the QLK 100 is the much more ergonomically designed dash control. Performs in the same function. You've got your release, you've got your mute buttons, and all warning indicators built into it. We also offer an optional remote manual release that can be dash mounted, just in case of a small incident, the batteries get disconnected, whatever the case may be, but this will manually release the QLK 100. Now a quick introduction to our newest docking system. This is the QLK 150. This is the latest. It will be available this summer, and there's a whole slew of new features, new benefits. For one, we have a nice tapered channel. This will further help guide the user in a little bit more smoothly. And now we see a flush surface. Now we don't have bolts or rivets or any weldments to potentially snag the wheelchair if that wheelchair loses a couple PSI in the front wheels and we have a collision. We've heard of some people getting hurt before, so this unit activates for about 8 seconds and also features standard our removable cover. And the top is, of course, heat treated as well as the internal components. We have passed the J2249 crash test in a couple more directions. This is the first one that has ever been crash tested side facing, and not only the regular J2249, but we did it with the WC19 surrogate wheelchair. What this means is higher loads, about 60% stronger. So this is the strongest docking system in the world. There's no other system that is able to comply with the WC19 loads. So we're going to take a quick look at the inside and some of the components. But we are moving to a trivalent coating for the steel. It does a great job of protecting the steel, but it's also environmentally friendly. We still have the micro switch protection, and we've incorporated into the studs. We've incorporated the over-torquing protection. So again, your techs will not be playing with threading and unthreading of or torquing of a nut in terms of getting the right balance of movement. And this is a liability that just doesn't need to be there for anybody. So we also look at the electronics. We like to call these the plug-and-play electronics or plug-and-play servicing, and what that means is we have a single solenoid and a single limit switch, and both have separate and different quick connects that are waterproofed. So if you ever have to replace a solenoid or a micro switch, it'll be done very, very briefly. And we've also made those different so that you can never plug the micro switch into the solenoid or vice versa, getting the wrong wires. So again, it's less room for error in terms of installation. What you won't see in this design is a second limit switch and a thermal switch. Here we have the new smart control module for the QLK 150. We do feature these nice screw terminal connectors, and what this means is a lot of less soldering, crimping, If you want to do a clean installation, you're not going to have to cut the end of that terminal anymore, run your wire, and then again resolder, recrimp, or do whatever it takes to get that end back on. You're going to be able to just take a simple screwdriver, flathead, put it through, and remove the wire, run it, and get it back in. We'll have some nice color indicators to let a dealer know red dot goes with the red wire, and just to make the installation a lot more user-friendly. So going back to this control module, because of the microprocessor, we can do a couple of things. We've eliminated the thermal switch on the solenoid. Well, we're able to do that because now we can control the power going to the solenoid, thereby cutting the heat that it produces. And so we've eliminated the need for that. A couple other things we can do is we can work with batteries that have a less charge, so all the way down to 10 volts. We also have a new sleep mode. When the unit is unlatched and the user exits, the sleep mode puts the controller in a state where it uses extremely low leakage current. What that is 76.5 microamps. And finally, we have the flexible dash control. This is a flexible membrane technology with embedded LEDs. It's a peel and stick installation, and it will conform to pretty much any curved surface and sticks via a 3M adhesive. It's a very, very small footprint. It's 2 by 2 inches and probably about 2 or 3 mil thick, thanks to the adhesive. However, the touch surface is actually larger than any of the buttons on the previous system, and you can see that I'm actually activating it right here. These are in there. So what I mean by that is everything above these two indicators is actually the touch surface. It's not two separate buttons anymore. One only worked when the vehicle was on, and one only worked when the vehicle was off. So therefore, we've combined them into one button and made it so that any user can really simply, if you've got limited dexterity, as long as you touch just about anywhere above it, really simply with any part of your hand, you've activated the system. Another thing we've added is whether the vehicle's on or off, we now have a green light indicator, and I've kind of nicknamed this wheelchair pin crash avoidance. But coupled with the smart controller, basically if they lock it with their finger, well, at some point someone in a wheelchair is going to come back and they're going to collide with this locked. So it's just an extra little safety precaution, but that locked indicator, whether the vehicle's on or off, is going to be staying on. It doesn't take much power, it's a little LED, but it could prevent some serious damage. One of the main important features that we're going to be offering with the QLK is the ability to customize it, further customizing it to each unique situation, each unique installation. So we're offering different height kits and guides, and the ability to, upsell your customers, deliver more value, make more money. So as of right now, we've decided on half-inch increments. And but also, because of the new design, a smaller solenoid, we're able to go all the way down from 2 1/4 is pretty much typical, all the way down to 1.5 inches. And what this means is lower clearance wheelchairs. We can get those Jazzy 1103s, the Jazzy Select 6s, other wheelchairs, and 3 inches is no longer a requirement. And because of the flush surface, again, you're going to be able to use our height guides, bring that closer to the wheelchair, reduce the how much that bolt is hanging down, bring it up closer to the wheelchair. Now you've delivered a lot of value, because we've come to learn that a 1/16 of an inch, an 1/8 of an inch difference in the height of that bolt makes all the difference in the world. So, and because what I told you before about the crash testing, we've done all our crash testing without a stabilizer bar. Doesn't mean that, it still means you need to stabilize it, but it doesn't mean that it's this big honking piece of steel. Now it can be something that might in the future be able to snap onto the top, just to help stabilize from harder accelerations. So there you have it.